Recording in progress.
We're on the air. Welcome to the, thank you very much. Welcome to the May 6th meeting, 2024, of the Board of Assessors of Lunenburg, Massachusetts. Let me read this stuff. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised this meeting is being recorded and broadcast live over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page. https://www.facebook.com/Lunenburg-public-access-cable- 157-427-270-975-305/. Recording can be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The meeting will be held in person, and I had some trouble finding them, but we can find them. They're there. This meeting will be held in person at the location provided on this notice. This is the Bellata Room of the Lunenburg Town Hall. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended nor terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast, unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in any specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. For remote participation from a computer, please use the link below, which is to join the Zoom meeting, https://us02web.zoom.us/j/841-830-38660. The meeting ID again is 841-8303-8660. From a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter that same webinar ID, which is, one more time, 841-8303-8660, and followed by the pound sign. If you have not registered with Zoom, you will be asked for your name and an email address. No participant ID is needed. Just press the pound sign when asked. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may use the raise hand feature to request to speak. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by the open meeting law. Disclaimer finished. I'd like to call us to order. It's now 6:33. We will open this for comments. Comments from the board? Any comments from the board?
I could say something.
Well,
Okay. Today I had the opportunity.
you're going to keep it brief, though.
Yes, very brief. This afternoon I helped an individual with his abatement, and he came up to me and said, "Hey, this is all wrong," looked at the data, and we helped him compose one. But what I thought struck me is that he didn't have a printer to print anything out on, nor his computer was his phone, and that's all he really had. And I'm saying, ooh, this, if you got one mouse, you always got a dozen. And I'm wondering are we offering any kind of services to help people
No,
fill
we
out?
can't.
We
cannot.
can't. We cannot.
We're not supposed to help anybody. It's supposed to be their words, their abatement. It's
Oh, yeah.
all-
Yeah, but they don't even know how to find the sites, the GIS, so you can't leave them out there by themselves.
They can come get the forms at the office.
Yeah.
That is always an offer.
To find, yeah, and perhaps we can show them how to find comparable lots and
No,
things like that.
no, we can't do that.
Nope.
No, we're supposed to be totally impartial. Nope.
Well, there's nothing about it, we're helping them find information, right? Isn't that what we're supposed to be doing?
No, they're
It
supposed to
is in
be,
our mission, it's in our vision that we're gonna help people.
yes, but on abatements, by state statute, We just take what they give us, and we act on what is presented to us.
Right, right, I get that. But to be able to point out, and, we don't have the handbook out yet, or, not that we haven't tried, but I'm saying, they can't even get to some of that stuff. And I'm saying, why wouldn't we try to offer,
Well, we've had quite a few abatements, I'm sorry. We've had quite a few abatements already filed,
Yeah.
and they just write down what they think the issues are. They don't have to submit stuff with them. They can just, they can just tell us what's wrong, we'll do an inspection, and we'll go out and look at everything.
so there was some confusion about what's my plot number, there's another
They can
number.
come up to the office and get a copy
that.
of their card.
I give everybody
can-
their,
Everybody gets a card.
gets a
Right, and
copy
you
of
can
their
talk 'em
property
into it.
record card. All
Talk
that
'em through it.
information is on their property record card.
Yeah. And for those people that are working, he's,
We're
It's-
open
2 nights.
2 nights,
Thursdays and Tuesdays till 6.
yeah.
And it's on the,
So I'm going to,
the applications
so
are on
anyway,
I'm going to
that's-
cut this off unless there's something we can get to quickly.
Right, I'm just saying that we need to be able to figure out how to reach out better, that's all. Not that we're not.
We have done, okay,
Are we
I
done?
won't comment any
Right,
further,
right.
because I'm not going to comment any further.
Okay.
Anything else, Sarah?
Yeah, I have a public comment. One of the things that I promised to do as an assessor was to neither undervalue nor overvalue property and to follow the state statutes. And one of the things that I can do within those state statutes is to impartially look at abatements and help administer exemptions. But I do want to point out that even though I would love to be able to say that I can keep people in their homes, that's not what this board does. This board administers taxes. Doesn't administer taxes, administers the assessment process that leads to taxes. We can look at exemptions, we can work on those, we can file, we can review abatements impartially, but I can't guarantee to keep anyone in their homes. And I just wanted to state that. Now, what I do outside of my public office is another story.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Is there any comment from the public? Do we have anyone on Zoom? There's no one here in the room.
Listen, I don't think we have anybody.
Thank you.
There's no one on Zoom.
No one on Zoom at the moment? Okay. Let's move to the status report from the principal assessor, or her sub.
I thought Linda, did she send?
She had sent us one, yeah, back,
Okay.
for our last meeting.
Oh, okay. We've been working on the real estate abatements, and to date, filed down in the office with the exception of this one, we have 24 abatements filed. And Linda and I, and you as well, we've done 6 inspections to date. I have not set up any inspections for this week because I'm alone in the office, so I am making appointments for the following week. I've already got a couple set up. So basically, just between, today I spent the entire day going through a pile of tax bills that had been returned to see if there's new owners or if they had to be, forwarded to anybody. Motor vehicles are still coming in pretty strong. So we're still working on motor vehicle abatements. So basically, it's been real estate abatements, getting them ready for the board to review. I've made up a cover sheet for them. Just kind of briefly put on the front things that, they're basically looking for. And anything that Linda or I have inspected, we're attaching the property record card with things that, if it was something that was an error in square footage, we're making that correction now. And so that will be abated. and we'll bring it to the board. But basically, that's about what we've been doing.
Great.
Can I ask a question?
Please, yeah.
Approximately how long does it take after we get, say, someone's abatement to be able to do the inspection and then turn it around for the board to say review?
If we had, Linda here tonight, there would have been 6 of them we could have brought to you right away.
Okay.
And got the board to work on those. Typically, from the time we do an inspection until the next meeting, we'll try to get everything ready we can for the meeting. And again, it depends on, how many, right now, 24 is easy. 6 have already been inspected. So, and there are some that will not have to be inspected. They're just things that have nothing to do with the house, and it's just land issues, and we'll just bring those before the board.
Okay. Thank you.
Legally, we have.
We have 30 days to either approve or deny the abatement. And then after it's either denied or approved, the taxpayer has 3 months to appeal to the appellate tax board.
So while we could take as long as 30 days, you can see that some of them are already in progress, so it shouldn't take us forever to get through this pile that we know of so far. The pile could grow. I expect it to grow. I don't expect it to grow a lot, so.
I was kind of asking for personal reasons because I'm going to be busy a little bit in June.
We'll be talking about future meetings later.
Yes, of course.
Any other questions for Maureen ahead?
No.
Good.
No.
We talked about omitted and revised. There was some activity.
Yes.
We're all somewhat new at this, but I think we're familiar with what omitted and revised are.
Yes.
Okay. No need to explain.
We have I have a commitment for the board to sign, revised and omitted. It all goes on one commitment. We have one for personal property for the solar project. And the solar projects, some of them are done as personal property by RRC, and some are under agreements with the town. And it's, this happens to be one that's on, this solar project is under an agreement. So it's a 20-year agreement with the town, and each year there's a set amount to be paid. And the only difference in that is the town accountant has to figure out on that payment every year how much kilowatt hours, because it's so much per kilowatt hour that goes on top of the bill as well. This particular solar project, and I'm not sure which one it is, I think it's Settlers. They had not paid the right amount for this year. In fact, they hadn't paid this year. So that's a revised assessment, and it's $21,493. Then we have a real estate, an omitted assessment, a house that was completed, but we didn't pick it up. So the difference is in the building value. The land, they've been taxed for, so they will be getting a bill for the structure. So that's what the revised and omitted assessments
Structure
are.
was completed when? Do we know, off the top?
No, I
Okay,
don't
it's
remember
okay.
off the top of my head.
I believe it was during the period in which we only had Rena in the office, but, so there was no way to get out and do the inspections and stuff. We don't have to vote on this,
Turned up,
right?
though.
Do we have to vote on this?
No.
Just sign it.
Just sign it.
So it sounds like it's getting picked up because we have enough staff,
Linda's been,
or more staff.
Linda's been focused on that, hasn't she?
Linda has been focused on, she had a meeting with the building inspector last week. She's been focused on trying to catch up with all the building permits we've missed. So she has really been focused on that. And between Vision doing the field inspection during the winter, that found some houses that were standing that we did not have, and going through the building permits, as Linda has been doing, we should be in really good shape for new growth this year.
That's great.
Yeah.
Any questions on that, Mr. Rabbit?
No.
Okay, good. The next item was, oh, you have more? Or is that it for a minute?
That's it for a
Okay.
minute.
Fabulous.
Excuse me, Mr. I do have, I didn't,
Oh, you-
I just received this. There was a solar?
For a
On
solar
personal property?
project, yes.
Personal property?
what, it's part of a solar project.
Okay,
Solar
This is not on
panels
somebody's-
do come under personal property.
right.
And that particular one has a 20-year agreement, which they haven't made the correct payments on.
So
They didn't pay yet.
they haven't paid yet.
Right,
For that year.
Okay.
for this year.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I was under the impression, this is a residential property, and I was under the impression that
What?
solar panels
What
were.
did you say?
is
These
this-
are not solar panels
residential.
on
Oh,
houses.
I'm sorry, okay.
We've
These
tried
are,
to,
these
I'm
are
sorry, I didn't hear
solar
that.
fields.
Yeah.
What's that?
are you
Rena
not,
actually said that already, so I
I
think you're
just
not
didn't
maybe
hear it.
hearing her.
I just didn't
Yeah.
hear it. You know
These are
what?
solar fields. They're
right,
not
these are
on
solar
houses.
projects,
fields.
not solar, not
Yeah.
residential solar.
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't-
Installations.
Didn't
And the
hear it.
other one is a house that Linda just picked up by going through permits.
Yeah. But I would, if it's a house on a panel, I was
Well,
under
they're
the
two
belief
different
that
things.
exempt.
They're two different
It
things.
No,
is.
no, no.
It is exempt.
Separate.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Are you good?
I'm good, I signed, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Munis error on the bills. I sent you guys
Yeah.
some information on that. So we had some difficulty getting all the bills out with the communication between Munis and Vision. It appears that, and I believe that, Vision has all the information correct.
Yes.
But what was picked up by Munis, where there was an exemption, those exemptions were used to reduce the amount of tax as they appropriately should have been, but they were also used to reduce the valuation of the home or
That was written on the-
property.
That was written on the tax form, but
That
not
was written
the
on the
property
tax
card.
form. The property cards in Vision are correct. And if you were to redo the property card today, it'd still be correct, but those
Tax bills.
those tax bills that had an exemption have their property values reduced by the exemption amount. So we are trying to confirm how we get that fixed. I've also had a conversation with the town manager that we will need to send another round of bills, corrected bills, to those people affected only, with an explanatory note, and we'll highlight the heck out of what changed, which will only be the valuation. And I've also made it very clear to the town manager that we need to get this out before we send new bills on July 1st.
And that
So-
it was a munis error.
It's a
It had
munis error.
Nothing to do with assessment.
It had nothing to do with assessment, nothing to do with Vision. It was, part of it was the communication between Vision and Munis,
Yeah.
but it ultimately was a Munis error. Is that, you wanted to say something?
Yes, on our vision system, we have a field for exemptions, and if you click on that, and it has a drop-down menu, so if it's a veteran, if it's the 22 small e, 22D, if it's blind, if it's a 41C, you choose that exemption, and it brings up the amount automatically. This on Munis, it does pull from the Vision property, that field. The problem was Munis was not putting it under exemptions. It was taking like the $400 off the tax bills instead of,
Off the value,
off the valuation, instead of,
whatever the amount was, it was 400. The one that we
the
discovered it
particular one
on
was $400.
was a $400 bill.
It's
Right.
giving me a headache because it's unnecessary confusion.
You weren't in the office when we discovered it.
No, I wasn't.
I was
in
ready to pop.
I'm sure you.
Sorry.
I would have, I would have accompanied that. It's just so frustrating that that's happening.
And Brian, I believe you were in the office today when I called Vision,
Yes,
and we clarified that with Vision, that the exemptions were pulled correctly in the correct field, and it's a Munis problem, not Vision problem.
correct. And that, after that, I went to see the town manager and just
Yes.
say, there's a Munis error, it needs to be fixed, and we need to have it fixed soon, because we need to get those letters out.
Tyler's the one who makes the
Yes.
Muni software.
Yes.
Yes. So anyway, it's just another piece of
Another thing?
confusion that we don't need.
All right.
I did like your suggestion, though. Let it come from the town manager.
Well, the letter needs to come from, well, it needs to come from the town. It needs to be something that the tax collector, town manager, and assessors all are sort of co-writing. I actually suggested that maybe we would write it together and then let them modify it rather than letting someone else write it. Because we want to be clear
We
that
want to
this is.
review it for sure, yeah.
No, we're probably going to write it.
Okay.
I'll probably write the first draft.
Don't put the code on, though. You know, by you writing it and us signing it, we're putting a code on that we don't need to be putting a code on. Yeah, there's no expression. If there's
Oh,
putting the code on, why do you want to put the code on and get up and defend it when you weren't the
it
originator?
it will be jointly authored by at least two, the town manager and myself.
Okay.
Anyway, so I understand what you're saying. We don't need to absorb any slings and arrows for something we didn't do.
Right. Becoming the target.
Current business, review and approve minutes. The minutes of April 22nd are not prepared yet. The person that helps us out with those minutes,
Do you have these?
Oh, the executive session minutes.
yeah, I know.
Yep.
So the minutes of our open meeting have not been prepared yet because the individual that does them for us had some medical stuff in the family, so we will be a little bit patient.
Mm-hmm.
We had actually built up as many as 10 in the past, so I don't want them to get too far in arrears anymore. So we will not be reviewing those today. But we could review and sign the minutes of the executive session from the 22nd.
Yes, but we probably should talk about those minutes during executive session.
If we have no changes, we wouldn't matter, but yes, if we have changes.
Only because of the content of,
Yep, that's fine.
Okay.
So we'll hold that until the executive session. Review and approve invoices, expense vouchers, payroll, billing errors, 2 MVE commitments to the MVP abatements.
we have
MV.
no invoices.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
We have no invoices. We have no payroll sheets. You won't be signing those anymore because Heather will be signing them. But, so I have a commitment,
Because neither of the folks are employees of the town, they are contracted.
contract people.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is commitment number 9 of 22. There's,
2022,
Two bills.
not 9 of 22.
Right.
At some point, I'll get used to the random batches of commitments.
Maybe.
Good luck.
The total is for
Uh-huh.
$77.98.
We can't claim our money until we do this.
Yep. Okay.
And totals on this one are over here.
Today is the 6th day,
Oh,
Is another commitment?
May
this one is the second one of 24.
2024.
And there are 135 bills.
So I'll just say.
And the totals on this page.
Thank you.
That is
back
the
at ya.
second commitment of 24.
2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the commitment total is for $285,816.11.
Nice.
Wow. That almost makes up for mapping fees.
Sixth day of May, 2024.
These are agreements.
These are motor vehicle
NASCAR
abatements.
leasing. These are just all the, nothing's registering here.
What's the question?
The motor vehicle excise, these are all the excise taxes, including the leases and things, or?
Well, they come in several commitments, so this is
Okay.
commitment number 2. So
Okay.
we'll still keep getting, well, we might keep getting more.
What?
Yeah, the
Some years
first
we've
one
had
you
as many as
signed was
9 or 10.
commitment number
Right.
9
Right.
of 22, so
Right.
as people register vehicles, they,
Is that a new
They
folder
come.
cover?
I love that it's nice and
Did
bound.
they make a new cover for that or something? I don't think
Kelly and
they
Ryan
did
does
over.
that.
Yeah.
These are, all right, these are motor vehicle abatements, and they're posted by the year. So there's several in a batch, and the total of all of them is down here, and the signature page is here. So you can look over. There's 3 of those because there's one for our records, there's one for the tax collector, and one for the town accountant.
Okay.
Here.
So if you
You
want to
have
look at
one,
the
I
bills
have one.
that you're abating,
We'll all
they're
look
there.
at one.
So these are all abatements over a couple of years for motor vehicles.
Yes.
The amount is
Mostly 23 and 24.
$10,623.24.
Sixth. Sorry. You put the date in.
I did, you said it out loud and I realized I hadn't done it yet. I thought I would.
These are all the same.
Did you sign it?
You didn't sign this one.
Nope.
You handed it back to me but didn't sign it?
I'm supposed to sign another one?
You have to
There's
sign
3
all 3.
copies.
I got one.
Here's
You
the
had
second.
one that you were reading.
Here's the
but you
second
handed it
copy.
back
Oh, I
to me.
handed, oh, I'm sorry.
You handed it back to me but didn't sign it.
Oh,
I got this one.
let's see, Brian.
Number 1.
Well, we need a good left fielder.
Not this one.
Sign that one,
Yeah,
please.
thank you. Oh, we're missing one. You're 2. Okay.
And then Sarah will sign it.
Uh-huh.
And number 3.
Every
This-
team needs a good left fielder.
This commitment does not have
Half there.
the nice
Bowling,
lines
yeah.
for the signature. And this is multiple years. I believe when Sue processed these, she was putting them in, she didn't do it on separate batches, so there's some 23s, there's some 22s. So the bottom line is,
So these are older commitments. Well,
that was
a pile of commitments.
That was one of the first commitments before we learned how to do the signature page and all. And again, there's 3 of those.
So 3 copies of this one, again.
Again, I'm gonna try.
Here, pass one right over to
My
Mr.
fingers out.
Rabbit with 2 Ts. Oh, thank you. Which one? Oh, there's no.
Do you want to hand me that one, Jack? And I'll
Sure.
put in the blanks for us.
Oh, I don't know where it is. Okay.
I got it.
Thank you, Sarah.
And this one is for $10,219.91.
Look at that, you see.
Fabulous. Same, go back this way.
I'm not trying to make the blanks smaller and smaller. I'm just
Nope.
stop
okay.
writing after a while.
So if I were
Okay,
to
here's
understand
number
this, Rena, those ones that are going back to 2021, they're,
These are from
It-
Sue's time.
right, but they're, no, I'm just,
Oh,
good.
yeah.
They've been paying them? Do they get to claim back 3 years? Is that what it is?
No,
No, they just,
that's a bill that was issued for 21 that they could prove that the vehicle was not on the road. It's only a
Okay.
one bill.
okay,
It's not for all the years, it's just a 21 bill. And if the bill's been paid, you can go back 3 years. If the bill has not been paid, they have a
Right.
year to file for an abatement.
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So that would mean, we didn't pay that 1 year, and we kept sending them the bill and caught up. Okay,
No, they didn't get bills for 22, 23, or 24
they just,
because they canceled the plates on the vehicle. But
So they wouldn't have been included in the commitment,
right.
those years.
They only got the bill for 21, which they had the paperwork to show it wasn't on the road in 21, so that could be abated.
Sure. Okay. I didn't know if it accumulated each year after that. No.
That's,
Each year is treated independently,
Right.
essentially.
that's all I have.
That's all?
That's all. For
Check mark.
signatures.
The next item was to review and approve the neighborhood review team proposal.
Yes, so I put together a brief outline. I haven't built a committee before, so I put what I thought the composition might be, what we would potentially do each meeting, and what our final work product might look like. You just got this, so I'm not expecting to
I-
approve it right now. And
But I do have some feedback for it.
great, so I'll take it.
So after the composition, we really have to reach out to those people, make sure we get confirmation that they're on. I don't know if we do that beforehand or afterward. I would like to add, personally, I would like to add, we have a member at large. That means a citizen at large.
Yes.
Okay. I would like to have at least one be a lake person.
Yep.
Someone representing the lakes in total. They don't have to be a lake representative, but they would at least accommodate.
Yeah.
And then someone who is not a lake resident. And I don't care what neighborhood they're currently in, other
Okay.
than that.
And that would get us to 5 members.
Well, and then the
maybe.
other thing I think we might want to consider is putting an active Realtor.
Okay.
And I know Rena has some reservations about that, but she has some ideas about that too. So if you
Okay.
want to,
Except the person I was thinking of, I believe, she lives at the lake, so that probably would not work.
she lives locally.
Yes.
Okay.
That could be a twofer, though.
No, we don't
I
want to.
really, I want to keep them
We want them
separate if we
separate.
can, because we want them not to look at, yeah. That'd be my take anyway.
Yeah, that's okay. I would just.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And we could, by outside assessor and lead assessor, do we need both?
I don't think we do.
So that'd be my
Just
take.
an assessor.
Rena has volunteered to work on this effort.
Yeah.
I would consider her an outside assessor since she's
Yeah.
a contractor. Is that okay? Does
Yeah,
that make
that's-
sense to you?
That-
Yeah,
that
So we
works
could take
for
the
me.
lead assessor off there and then add
Yep.
one person for a Realtor.
And that gives us 5.
And we need to identify those people and reach out to them
Yeah.
sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
because the meetings really need to start
Soon.
soon. Thank you. Thank you.
Because we have to get, well,
No, you're right. It has to start soon because
Yeah.
we have to go through and determine what we want for the neighborhoods.
Right.
And then we have to figure out what the implications are of that to the various factors that we have
Right.
currently
yeah.
used.
So, what I was saying on here for the benefit of anybody who's watching later, it seems. People need to be familiar with what the DLS guidelines are for neighborhoods and what site qualifiers are. We need to be able to access the data and view neighborhoods and determine what needs to be updated according to the DLS standards. My suggestion after that would be to examine data from other towns and view neighborhoods and examine the sites they're using and draft a potential list of neighborhoods that we think would be useful in town. But of course, that doesn't work if we don't have previous data that supports those neighborhoods and supports having those neighborhoods in sales and those site qualifiers that are supported by sales. So this is where assessor is going to be really important because we have to be able to look through that data and see if that makes sense. And then after we do that, then we can go about assigning the neighborhoods and the site qualifiers. But this is just an advisory committee. So I think after we conclude that work, I was thinking about this. This should be presented to the Board of Assessors as a list of recommendations. And then, I really want that to be well reviewed. So I'm not sure what the appropriate action would be to take after that. I think our committee can not our committee, our board can review it. I think our lead assessor should review it.
Yes.
And I'm wondering if DLS should take a look at it before we potentially adopt it. I don't know the proper order.
Since part of this is instigated by the determinations that we had, maybe it would be valuable to have someone from, I don't want to say Becky, but somebody from,
DLS.
Well,
take a look
least Becky could review it.
yep, that's a good
Because she
idea.
is our
That's a good idea. I like
our
that.
field supervisor.
I do think so. I think the idea of benchmarking is the right idea
Yep.
from the other towns.
Yep.
I was thinking perhaps of touching base with somebody in the business, like Nate or someone.
What?
So that would be the active realtor or the outside assessor?
Okay, who actually knows how to build neighborhoods around
Well-
the systems that we got, and whether it's,
So I think that's important. I think maybe after the committee concludes the work, then that could be something, I suggest it should be reviewed by a committee or a vendor. That could be Nate,
is that in
maybe.
there? I'm sorry.
Yeah, do you see the bold line where it says conclude work?
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
It's all right. Present this
Okay,
data to
here's
the
the
Board
vendor.
of Assessors
Yeah.
for additional action as a list of recommendations. So we would all receive a list here.
Yeah,
And then we need to have some kind of review mechanism, which is what you're talking about.
Yep.
So that part, I'm not sure exactly what we want to do as a group here. If we send it to Nate, we will definitely have to initiate some kind of contract, probably.
right.
And we should probably talk to the town manager about that budget-wise
Right.
before we commit to something like
Right.
that.
Right.
And one other thought, a team leader, is that the member of our team?
I didn't say team leader, I said board member,
Board member? Okay.
under,
So we didn't really determine who would be the team leader.
No.
And,
no,
and
we did not.
Member at large, okay.
should we leave it up to the committee, or should we just determine that amongst ourselves now? Just a thought. That's a reasonable question, I think.
Do you mean
Oh, I
like
think it's the
who's
right
going to do it?
Question right now.
No, like you
Or-
both have volunteered to be on it, who
Oh,
would lead it?
Who would run it? I see.
Who would lead that effort? And Rena has a vote, and it ain't her.
So probably the board member.
Okay. Actually, that probably makes the most sense anyway.
Yeah.
And
So go
I
ahead.
will pull out our data collection manual,
Okay.
because there's a whole area in there are neighborhoods, and the different factors to look at on the neighborhoods, on the data collection manual.
So I'll add that to like the meeting to
Okay.
work.
So, as far as parameters for this group, I have a couple of ideas that you guys can all shoot down if you'd like. The first is, we have about 4,400 parcels today, not including the commercial. The other thing we should think about, should we have somebody doing be it condos representative too? But that just occurred to me, sorry. So we have 4,400. We want to make sure the neighborhoods are large enough so that we actually have a reasonable amount of sales to compare them to. If there are 4,400, and we want to probably keep this to 8 to 10 neighborhoods, I would suggest anything more than 10 neighborhoods, we're going to get pushback from DLS about that's too many neighborhoods and cut too fine. So if we were looking at 8 to 10 neighborhoods with 4,400 parcels, I would suggest that we wouldn't really want to have any neighborhoods less than 400 or so, because that way we'd potentially get enough sales. We also don't want to get any neighborhoods that are much more than like 1,200, because today, what we have today is one neighborhood that has over 3,000 in it, which is not really that meaningful either, because there's really no neighborhood structure there at all, just they're all lumped together. So I would suggest that we want to have somewhere between 400 and 1,200 per neighborhood. That's just my suggestion, and you guys can shoot that down, whatever you'd like, and that we have no more than 8 to 10. So those would be my
I wouldn't
thoughts.
want to have any more than 8 to 10, but I think, I remember vaguely having a discussion about neighborhoods before and thinking that fewer neighborhoods is better. But I don't know how many, from any experience, how many a town like ours could support. Because there's going to be areas where we have probably a high amount of turnover for houses and other areas where we don't, which when we go to study would be important to know.
And there are overlaps, like if you have condos on lakes,
Yeah.
well,
Well,
what do
how
you
does
do
that
with
work? Yeah,
And we do.
we do.
But you can't make that a neighborhood in and of itself, because it wouldn't be large enough to really
Yeah.
create that many sales to make it.
And condos are already in
Then you
their
have a
own.
hybrid.
Condos are in their own neighborhoods
Yeah.
already,
Place.
sort of.
Each, there's sort of,
Yeah.
yeah, but, yeah.
Then
I'm
you-
sorry.
And you've got the hybrids, the Emerald Place locations, which theoretically, they're on a lake, They're right next
I
to
would
it, they've
count
got
that
their
one
own
a lake.
beach areas,
I would
so
count that one a lake.
you mix them? Probably not, because there's a whole pile of other factors that affect value. So, you know what, I would punt on that and this whole thing in terms of number, and let the board go and do their benchmarks.
Let the
Talk to the
Committee.
the folks that were doing
Yep.
it, doing it, and find out where the sweet spot is and go with that. Otherwise, we can go down this path and we think we're all right, and we can
Yeah.
discover that the marketplace or the actual practitioner is a little different, so.
But I do agree that I think more than 8 to 10 neighborhoods in our
Yeah.
small town would be,
It would be rejected by DLS.
yes.
I can tell you that in Groton, I had about 8 neighborhoods. Initially, he's laughing because I told him, when I started working in the town, I was just a clerical position. We had a company called Patriot Properties. They were like our vision. And they had set up the town with 26 neighborhoods, and they were A through Z. That's how they set them up. Instead of numbers, it was A, B, C. The DOR came in and said, oh, no. You've got to cut that way, way down. So we ended up with about 8 neighborhoods, I believe it was, in Groton. And Groton's similar in size. They have lakes as well. They have lake property. About the commercial is probably about the same. So it would be a good start, and Littleton would be another one. Littleton is
Probably have
pretty,
more
they have more commercial property, but their residential property is probably going to be in about the same.
Yeah.
And they do have about 3 lights.
So should we start throwing out names yet? Or how do we go about identifying the people who are on this committee and when they can meet?
Well, we know of 2, and then somebody else has come
We know of
forward.
a Lake member who has volunteered,
Yes.
so that would give us 3. We'd have to search for a Realtor, a non-Lake representative, and then I don't know if we want to do a condo or not.
You
Maybe I'll leave that up to the committee to decide?
Well, I think your condos, we just went through a reval,
Mhm.
and the condos were considered, and they're in their own separate, condos are
Oh,
condos.
that's true, there are different,
It's not like, yeah,
In that vision, how to read your vision card.
yep,
I
a good
forget
point.
the total number because
point.
it's
No.
not, there's one number missing.
Ah.
Like there's number 2 or 3, there's no actual neighborhood. It's not chronological.
well, because the condos, the land is all included, so it's.
Right.
I get it, it
Yeah.
just bothers me.
Yeah,
It bothers all of us, I think, that the land's included in the condos, yeah, well,
Yes, it does. Those are diff-
it's the rules,
So I think the condos are, it sounds like those are
covered.
covered.
yes.
Well, I'll rescind that
Okay.
request. So
So,
can we try to have the members identified by our next meeting?
sure, I know, probably the board member, I know the lake person, likely, the
Outside
outside
assessor?
assessor. I don't know how we necessarily get these other people.
Well, Rena must be familiar with many of the realtors in town, active realtors.
Actually, I'm not.
Okay. Anybody?
Yeah, Mr., can I make a suggestion that how you recruit is you try and get into some sort of public meeting. The most watched is the selectmen's meeting. So at the very front of the meeting, say, look, we're putting together this committee, and we need the following kind of members, and if anybody's interested, please call us. And do it a couple times, and you'll probably get
That is-
people showing up that say,
that
yeah,
is
I'm
true.
interested in something like that.
I can put it on the
Good.
website as well.
What time does the selectmen meeting?
7.
Start tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow? I don't
It's
know.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
There's one tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
There was one tomorrow. But it wouldn't be on the agenda, but you could just do public comment.
Public- Just do public
Yeah, that's what I did.
Is that something you could do tomorrow?
It is something I could do tomorrow.
Oh, you are good.
Um,
Great suggestion,
Good.
great
I just-
execution, thank you.
I might have to be slightly bipolar.
Slightly what?
Oh, she has some other things she wants to talk about
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
But that's all right. I can manage. I mean, everybody
That's
knows
that's a
when I'm
really good
doing
idea.
which
So,
thing.
so hopefully we can have a pretty good idea of the makeup of this committee by our next meeting.
Hopefully. As long as we get volunteers who are willing to spend at least 8 weeks doing things. And I would want to start as soon as possible.
And I think 8 weeks is about as long as you want to go,
Yeah.
because we need to move this
Well,
along.
I am hoping that part that says meeting 4 through 8 is a overestimation, but there are 2 weeks in June that I will not be able to do this.
Yeah, and that's okay, we all
Yeah.
have, our commitments,
So-
and some folks may volunteer for it and realize they can't because of other commitments, but
And I
others may.
You're gonna meet twice a month? Is that what you think, Sarah?
Well, I'm going to look at my calendar and I'm going to propose dates so people can put them on their calendar and I can find places to meet and then go from there.
Is an ad hoc committee like this subject to the open, they are.
Yes.
Subject to the open meeting
Yes.
law, so they'll have to post it and all that stuff.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm so excited about that.
This is, never mind.
I can't wait to read
It's
that
one of my
blurb.
biggest headaches.
I know. I know, so I might need some help getting space scheduled because it's a in-person calendar.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to have to delegate
Well,
that.
is there some reason you couldn't do Zoom meetings, though? I don't know that. I don't think so.
I'll have to think about that. I think,
Is It's better in person,
It depends on,
preferable.
it depends on the data we're looking at the time, I think.
Yep,
Because like a giant map is very hard to,
yep. Thank you for pulling this all together. This really gives us the framework, I think, for getting through something in the next 8 to 10 weeks. I'll call it 10, just in case, which gets us out to what, July?
And I'm going to start this week calling some of the surrounding communities to find
Oh.
out what they have in neighborhood counts.
Okay.
The research that we're going to
Right.
need for all this stuff anyway, that's great.
I mean,
That's
I
great.
can-
Thank you for,
Yeah, I
Good to
can,
have their qualifiers too, like the site condition qualifiers they choose to use. Because I know we have like busy roads, we have near water, we have potentially maybe near conservation land or what kind of view, I don't know. But, having that list of like, well, here's what this community did, here's what this community did, and then looking at our properties would be
right.
awesome. If
Right.
it's not too much.
no, I've got 4 names down here of similar sized communities in the area that I'm going to call.
Okay. Thank you.
Good summary. Thank you.
I try.
Good.
Thank you.
I will edit this and then send it back out, just so,
Documented?
yeah, and I don't know, my scrawl might translate to what everybody wanted. If it's not, I just want you guys to correct me.
You've heard the discussion. I think we'll probably be okay with it. But yes, please share it. Thank you.
I'll probably get to it in the next 2 to 3 days, at the most.
And I'm
Yes.
going to print off some copies of our data collection manual.
And then we can send them out to potential members.
Do we need the entire thing?
Will members need
I think
emails?
We could probably
Yeah.
just do the section on
Right.
what are the roads and stuff.
Logistical question, will members need emails from the town? And will they have to submit conflict of interest?
Since they're not really appointed to a lot,
Okay.
So we could probably use their phone.
It's an ad hoc committee that will have
Okay.
an end time.
Okay,
I don't think we need to have, I think you can use personal emails. I'll try to confirm that, but
Okay.
let me take that back. I can't confirm that till next week sometime, so if somebody wants to try to confirm that this week, great.
okay.
That work?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Discuss details and development of assessing calendar. I think everybody may have seen the email we got from the town manager that she had already done some work on a
Yeah.
baseline calendar, which is, that's great. I know we had a copy of the Boston calendar last time, and the DLS calendar, DOR calendar. I think it'd be great if we could try to finalize something around the calendar, but I don't know when we need to have that done by. Does it feel like that we need to have something done sooner rather than later? Really personally like to have something that we could just post in the wall in the assessor's office.
Yes,
Stick out at the website and say, here you go, here's what the assessor's
Here's what we're
calendar looks
doing.
like.
Yeah,
The one that we got from
Boston?
DLS
Yeah.
has what the requirements are.
yeah.
And that's a good summary, but we have some other things along the
That are
way
there,
here
yeah.
that we need to include, like when abatements are now, or when abatements are required, when the ATB has to be filed by, all that kind of stuff that is slightly different. And then we want to include things like next year's exemption forms being sent out. We're not going to do it on our normal history. So we need to add some things, but I don't know what the best way to pull that calendar together is
I liked that Excel sheet
from,
from the town manager.
Yeah.
And if we can put those other pieces into that,
okay.
I did. I had a chance to read, and I responded to Heather, because I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That was the right way to go. And it gives us the ability to not only just a set of events that we have to know, but now all of a sudden we can focus on those things. Who does what in relationship to those events? We can build plans around that, so that can become a backbone for planning. The other side of it was I attempted to see if I could convince somebody to, well, we want to, I thought that Boston calendar was really good. It really, and I went and looked through their sites, and I've seen it before, and I thought, yeah, let's use that format, and I just wanted to see if I could get just rid of the Boston and things like that, but I received a no, I'm not going to do that, so I'll figure out a way to put that in, but I like the idea of, let's start off with Heather's and then add to it and delete from it, and she did a pretty good thorough job, and that allows us to go to the next level.
Right.
And so I agree with you.
Okay.
And Brian, just keep in mind that on Heather's, those dates for next year are going to change.
Yes, they
They're going
are.
to go back to their,
Old ways.
the real days.
Yes.
The ones in our Assessors 101 course.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Not the ones we adopted this year, which were, yes, problematic. But we still have the remnants of this year that we'll be dealing with.
Yeah.
So, yes, thank you for that. So how do we want to consolidate our feedback to Heather on the calendar she has, or should we just start with it and modify it ourselves?
I think she was turning it over to us to do what we wanted with it, so.
That was my impression, but I didn't know how anybody else read that.
I read it the same way.
Okay.
I read it that
Sarah wrote
way.
a thank you back, too.
Yep.
Sorry, see that? You did?
Yeah.
Good job.
I thanked her in person.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think I saw Heather's calendar.
She probably didn't CC you.
No, I don't think she did.
Well, the reason that she sent it was because we had a conversation about the calendar.
Yeah.
And she said, well, I've already worked up something. Well,
So would you,
take it.
Mr. Chair, would you like to add the other things to the calendar?
Well, I would, but I will not be able to touch it until next week. So if you
I'm
don't mind
busy.
delaying it till
Yeah.
next week, then I will do that
I've got my own
next week.
thing. to-
You're busy?
Yeah,
I thought you might be.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Update of the status of investigation regarding exemptions.
The COLA one.
So, town meeting
Yeah.
passed our suggested change, our amendment to the age and to the amount for the exemptions for the elderly on the 41C. It does say that we are kind of locked into what is statutorily available to us, so we need to, statutorily, yeah, that's right. I think we need to review all of our exemptions, and that's something that can be done over the next couple of months. It doesn't have to be done, it's not quite as time-sensitive as some of the other things that we've been working on, so that by the time we get to October, we are able to say, here's where we stand on each of these exemption types, and here's what we recommend, including adopting 41D, which would get us to the COLA stuff. Not to exclude that, I just want to make sure that's included. But we need to look at all the rest of them, and there was some discussion about, so that's exemptions. There was discussion about deferrals. So we need to include that in the discussion.
Yeah.
And maybe we can just take it up at our future meetings, work on it together as the next couple of months go by, if we are indeed elected.
If you aren't, I'm resigning.
I'm, if somebody wants to write in and get me off the board, that would be all right.
Thank you for your commitment.
I'll still be here.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, okay.
One of the things is we get to choose what we work on, and I think this is important, but it's,
It's not as time sensitive. But
if I, have a summer off or something, 'cause there's somebody who's clamoring to get on the board, I'll take it.
they can have my spot first, though. Serve my time.
Whoever gets their
It's bad
resignation in
behavior.
first, I don't think that's the right.
I'm going to do the
approach.
job, you know that. I'm just,
Mr. Chairman,
So,
if I
Mr.
might,
Rabbit.
for me, I've spent a lot of time looking at all those, and I think the best return of my time could be to explore and understand what 41A does. That's the deferral piece.
Yep.
It's not just that. There's a ton of mechanics that sit behind
Yes.
that in terms of, how does the town handle floating that loan that essentially they're giving? How do they handle?
well, and who, you know, if we adopt it, we
Yeah.
need to have criteria that we're going to
We have
use.
adopted it,
Well,
apparently.
No, well,
41A?
the 41A deferral, that's what you're
Yeah,
talking
yeah,
about,
yeah.
right?
The town adopted that, I believe, back in 2000.
You
Oh, I
prob-
saw some.
I don't know.
You probably know better than I, but I don't
Yeah.
know that.
But, yeah.
And when I get a summary from the state, I don't see 41A on it.
No,
Well,
the only thing that was on
Because we
that
don't
was,
have any, I know, but.
was the 41C that was on that.
Correct.
What
Yeah.
was adopted.
so
on that summary.
what's weird to me is, you know, I was looking at all these deferrals, or all of the exemptions and deferrals again. What's confusing is that, you know, in our 101 course, it says 41A and the 18D deferrals, if somebody puts them forward, we can't deny them, but I think that also means we have to have accepted them first, and I don't know where the town is on that. And then if we accept them, we have to apply them consistently and uniformly and not
Correct.
capriciously. So, you know, I really would like to know
Yeah.
all of that information too, and have us really develop that policy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that 41A is a long-term loan on the house, but that's a lot of paperwork too, because if they still have a mortgage,
Well, yeah.
that has to be approved.
I've pulled,
And same thing with the 18 the 18 deferral, and that deferral itself, you
There's
know.
no state reimbursement for that one.
There's none?
No.
But it ends up being a tax, although it ends up being a maximum of a 3-year deferral with a recommended rate of an 8% tax. So it's really for somebody in crisis, and my understanding of it is that it doesn't have to be based on age.
it's not a senior.
It could be,
It is.
what?
I don't think it's age.
And it could be,
No,
somebody who's sick, or they lost their job, and they're
Yeah.
willing to take that, but they then have to go and get approval, like, somebody in that position probably has a mortgage, and they have to get that company to agree too. But at least, you know, they have some time to deal with that, whatever crisis,
that
and
one,
make a
Sarah? I'm sorry,
decision. That's the 18,
Clause 18.
yeah,
18 plus, because the
because,
41 is seniors.
you know, one of the things we were scratching
Those-
our heads
that's
about
what-
is that, that's only, you know, the things we're seeing are for seniors, and there's other people who
Are in need.
are in need.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And you know, I believe, I haven't read the statute for quite a while on 41A. It says you have to be infirmed. I mean, there's 3 different criterias.
Yeah,
and
it
it's
was-
There's-
affirmed,
Elderly, infirm, and low income, I think.
And that has
You-
changed.
Well,
I don't think so.
I looked at I forgot the printouts, but I printed out the most recent handbook that was updated in January 24, and it's in there.
Yeah.
But I still don't know if it's by adoption or by right.
And the numbers that go up, if you're a married
Sorry.
couple,
Yeah.
and you can have a piece of property worth more than $1 million. You can, at the same time, have an income more than $120,000.
And I think it was the
And
amount of,
the circuit breaker related, so they're all intermingled, and I gotta get more
Yeah.
clarification.
So,
yeah, there was, you can raise it up to the circuit
Yes.
breaker
so,
level.
so the point is, we have some time to do it.
Yep,
We don't want to dive into it right now and have
Yeah.
it tripping over all the other stuff that we're
Yeah.
doing, but we definitely want to have a clear picture of where we are by early October on all of these exemptions and deferrals.
yes.
What's
And if
time
we're
again?
gonna take action on
It'll
something.
be in November.
Yeah, we need to have it ready for
Yeah.
November, yeah.
By the beginning of October, we have to be
Yeah.
pretty clear on
Yeah.
where we are, and then come up with a recommendation.
Yep,
I don't want to make a recommendation until we're ready.
agree.
So, you know, I don't want to talk about a recommendation until October 1st,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah.
But we can continue to keep it on the calendar, on the agenda,
And look into
and
what we're
and do
seeing.
updates. So, Mr. Rabbit, you have done a lot of research into this space, so
Yeah.
if you want to look at the 41A, break it up into pieces, 41A, and if you want somebody else to look in 41D, we'll do that, no problem.
This, just 41A is going to keep you real busy, because it's the system that sits below it, and how are we going to handle that?
Right, but if we don't have anybody applying for it, then it won't keep us.
Well, because we haven't been advertising it, and most people didn't know anything about it, and wasn't that attractive until they loaded in the circuit breaker element.
And I think some of the things that you're going to look into 41A might apply to how we handle 18.
Correct.
So,
I'll nose over that way, too.
yeah.
So-
Well, I think if you're working on 41A and you get to a point of how it's been applied and how you think it might be applied, we should probably apply something very similar to 18. It's just not just for seniors.
It's probably transferable, and it probably
Yeah.
does
Right.
have those other
Yeah.
clauses.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and we've got 17 to look at, we've got 22 to look at, we've got 37 to look at, but right now, I think the focus should be on 41
Yeah,
and potentially 18, because they may be overlapping.
yeah, but,
So,
and those,
I'll do the 41. So,
you'll do the 41.
I'll do the 41.
41A, B, C, and D?
41A, 41A.
41A.
Okay.
So,
So is 41A only a deferral, or is there another part of 41A?
Only a
It's
deferral.
only
Okay.
deferral. It's not even an exemption, so you can still claim an exemption.
Yes,
while you're-
you can.
While you're getting a deferral as well.
But that means we still have to look
I looked
into
that up.
another.
I did.
We still have to review the exemption.
correct.
Who's doing that?
Not this week.
Yeah, we can talk later about that.
No,
you
but,
know.
But we have one for Brian.
Well,
well, I've got more things for you guys,
Yeah.
too.
no, thank you.
Was that it on exemptions and deferrals for now?
I have nothing else to add.
That's enough.
Okay, thanks. So if you like, I will commit to do the 41C and D investigation and make a recommendation sometime in the next month.
Yeah?
Thank you,
I
Mr.
won't
Chair.
stop you.
And then we'll have to figure out what we're doing with 17 and 22 and 37, but they seem more straightforward. Status of the rollout of the website?
Okay, I got up at 6 o'clock this morning, started working on this thing to be ready for my meeting with Kara that I thought was at 10 every Tuesday, and Kara came back, said she couldn't make it. So, okay, we also have some back and forth.
So every Monday, you meant?
On Monday, today's Monday, yeah.
You had a-
Tuesday.
You thought
is
you had a
something-
standing meeting?
I have a standing meeting on
Okay.
Tuesdays at 9:30.
No, I don't, tomorrow.
You
But
don't?
anyway,
Oh, okay.
Mondays.
Monday, I thought I had one, but
Okay.
I guess that we didn't have one, because I didn't set it up in the calendar. But I
Okay.
had created a list. Sarah wrote back to me, and there's still some,
Sarah?
I'm sorry, I'm just really tired, and I fell off a ladder today. It hurt, it's
You fell
hurting.
off a ladder?
I was,
Old people.
old people, we shouldn't be doing. Okay,
He's
I-
over a week older than I am.
I've got a camper. We went camping last week for 4 days. It was a great trip. And they came back, and you opened the vents. Guess what? We had yellow jackets, or, hornets, or wasps
wasps.
getting in there. So Jane says, Jack, let's go. Okay, so I go over there and I look, I get on my little step ladder, look up, and he sees me, and I see him. I tap the side of it to drive, and he came right at me, and of course, bang,
You
bang,
can see the
bang.
whole thing happening, yeah.
But we can envision
Yeah.
the whole thing. We've all done it.
Yeah, well done it, yeah, so it hurt. I had to take a nap for a while, I'm still, anyway,
You meant Kara got back to you?
Kara, yeah, Kara,
Okay.
Sarah, I'm sorry, yeah. So anyway, she's still got a pile of stuff to come back to us to confirm from the prior week, and she hasn't got my list yet for this one. She's suggesting that before I was sending a lot of emails, and Brian, you've seen that.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah. And I was mixing more than one topic and throw a couple of them in there. And that got confusing because of the volume. We're running 15 roughly changes a week and moves and new information. So now the suggestion was, okay, I'll send one for every separate one.
Well, that's not how I read her note.
Yeah, her note said,
Her note said me.
collect them all up and.
Collect them all up and put
Bring them
them
into
in
me.
one,
Yeah.
put them in one email. Now, having said that, if you can delineate, here's item 1, item 2, item 3, but I think what was happening before was some of the items were getting mixed up.
Yeah,
And,
because they were-
and then there were overlapping emails, and if you send her one email with a list, and here's the item 1 and all the stuff that's
Right.
affiliated with it, item 2, then I think she can do a checklist and run through them.
And give us more feedback. So anyway, what I did is, this time, I sprung for the extra money, and you get one of your very own. This one too, for you and such. So this is only the first 2 levels of the website, but essentially you'll see some little, at the start of it, we've got little numbers now, 1, 2, 3. So you can't see it very well, but if you get, you can see it, yeah.
I see you've got 1, agenda and minutes, then you've got 2, FAQs,
Yeah,
press releases.
and then there's debate,
I didn't
even,
know we had press releases.
Karen and I even have press release debates in terms of what is a press
Board
release,
of
what is
Assessors.
not. But
The only press
It's
either case,
If it's a press release, it's not really part of your website because it's
It's
going
the,
to the press.
Display.
Disclosure.
That's
Disclosure.
part of it, but
The one
at
we
the
have
same
about
time,
disclosure.
it's not showing up on the main town website, and in some cases, it was in the press, and it should be noted, and there should be an article about it, or we should at least dump something in this as, okay, we had a conference for the seniors.
Can we, instead of calling it press release, how about we call it recent news?
You
Or
know,
recent events?
that's what I would love to hear. As many inputs
Or-
as I can get
or-
and suggestions for improvements, I want to incorporate them in there. And if you can just, when you say, on the press releases, whatever that number is, if that's number 3, change the name. Just send me some notes so I can make more changes. And I will accumulate them over the next week, and I will, along with the other suggested changes, I will
Would you write it right on this copy?
Kara a big, long list. But that's kind of like, I don't,
Well,
that's a dump and run
I
kind of
just-
thing, and I don't
So-
believe in that approach.
go ahead.
Well, there's just so much here.
Yes, well, that's one of the debates
And-
we were supposed to have, and we're having it back and forth. I'm saying, I even sent her some AI information today in terms of, did I carbon copy you guys on that? Maybe not. It essentially is saying, shouldn't we have like a table of contents and an index map at the end, if someone really wants to find it?
Or what?
I'm just wondering if we could reduce some of this stuff. Like, I think it's important to be able to access everything. But I think if I didn't know this stuff already, I'd be like, what is all this?
Exactly right. You
What
need-
is all this stuff?
index-
And like, I know this stuff, and every time I get this chart, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, this-
It's just,
Too much,
it's too much. I think it's overwhelming for the citizens.
yeah.
yeah. Well, a lot of that
so-
stuff was in the site already,
I know.
and I can move all that
And,
down in the
and I'm
workbox.
wondering if, we can have this year's information, like current news, where you have press release, and then, historic information, and then you maybe want to subdivide it.
Yeah.
Or current news, find your GIS card. So agenda minutes, FAQs can go at the bottom of a page.
Well, I can
Agenda
dump them in the
minutes.
workbox, Sarah. There's a
Yeah.
whole workbox section down there.
Agenda
that
and
no one else
minutes, recent events, find your property, and then filing an abatement or an exemption.
Yeah,
And then
that's 9.
the rest can be
I can load it down, put it down into the
Even,
toolbox.
it can be deep dive into assessing or,
Well, this thing that he has down here, it
Yeah.
says Assessor's Toolbox, and
yeah,
I'm okay with a bunch of stuff out there. If people want
Yeah.
to dig in, they
Yeah.
can dig in, but I don't want them hitting the face with it when they first
yeah,
open it up. So that's, I like that.
yeah,
I like that. And maybe we want to move a few more of these things down there,
yeah.
but not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, we do need the appellate tax board.
Well, that should really be up with abatements.
That should be up with a big, like, can we take, and condense appellate into the abatement?
Process. What comes
Maybe-
after the abatement process?
Oh, combine
Like-
7 and 8 is
Yeah.
what you basically just
Yeah.
said, I think.
Yeah,
Get a lot in there, but I can do that. We can do anything. The good news is a lot of these links, they're all linked. And a lot of cases, they're already talking to existing files that we have on our
Yep.
website.
The one thing that I would like to make sure we pull out and put sort of near the top is assessor forms and information, because if you're looking for a form, you want to be able to find it.
yeah,
It's in
yeah.
there someplace, let's see.
What's down here under abatements, exemptions, and deferrals, but that one needs to be sort of.
So agendas and minutes, forms,
Forms. Because people
And
look for.
forms. Oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
agendas, minutes,
Okay.
and forms.
Okay,
Are you marking up one?
I'm marking up.
To get-
Oh,
Okay,
who's
we can all mark.
marking up? I'm marking up.
I'm marking it for me. I wasn't
Okay.
trying to keep the notes for what we've suggested so far, but
Okay, agenda, minutes, and forms. Where are the forms right now?
it's way down under abatement, exemptions, and deferrals, assessor forms and information. It's way over on the middle there.
And sometimes they're actually repeated twice, because if you're talking about a particular topic, like in the case of deferrals, there's a form that would sit specifically for deferrals. So I put it in two places, so you'll always be able to find it.
Okay,
Okay.
If something's in two places, though, I think it's going to confuse people.
Well,
If it's obvious and it's under forms, it ought to be under forms, I think. And if we want to put it someplace else,
Yeah.
well, I'm not sure that.
okay.
Then can we
Yes, that's
move,
useful.
press releases, rename it recent news and put it right under agendas and lists,
You can.
maybe? Like, it depends on what we wanna do
And-
with FAQs.
And facts should go closer.
And what was the name, Sarah? I'm sorry. Not press releases,
Recent
Recent
news.
news.
recent
I
news.
said,
Current
I said,
news.
current, but recent's better.
Recent news, I like that.
Only
Okay.
because we don't have to update it as frequently.
The vision cards,
Recent for the past year.
recent news, and really, the tax rate information goes there right now, doesn't it? In recent news.
And it's also sitting in another location. There's like 6 or 8 years of,
The tax rate information should be right on your opening page.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
it
most
is.
communities have it.
Yeah.
it would be part of that drop-down, that first drop-down block. And what sits inside that column that's where I wanted to try and see if we couldn't just
So,
have an
so
index
our blocks
or
will
a
be
site.
agendas and minutes, recent news, 2024 tax.
Rate information.
Recent news?
Where's 2024?
Number
It's
5,
Number 5 right now.
number 5.
But I think it should probably, like, I think it should be 1, agenda and minutes and forms,
So
recent news.
I
3
think,
should be tax rate information.
yeah, your 5-year revalid information
Maps.
and historic information. That's what we had in there.
I'm sorry. One was agendas and minutes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 you had as recent news.
Yeah.
Which should include, or you want tax rate information as 3? Okay.
What do you think? I mean,
That's what I heard. I'm fine.
I kind of would have the recent news with the tax rate information embedded in it, so you have less stuff. Because if I'm a resident and I'm looking at taxes, I would expect it to be in the recent news.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't really,
Yeah. Can
one
I
way or the other.
push back a little bit? On the agenda of the minutes, the thoughts were, okay, I want to go and figure out when this meeting is going to happen and what's on the agenda. I thought, let's leave that clean, you go right to the top. That's the most used location.
Agenda and minutes should be first. That's-
Yeah.
we
and
all-
it gonna
I
be-
think we're all
Do you
set.
really need to want to stick the forms in, different forms in there?
Yeah.
Add
I,
forms.
I,
Or
I do
just-
not want people wondering where the forms are.
Make it number 2 and just write forms. Just call them forms.
If they open up, if there's a thing on the, if it says agenda, minutes, and forms, they open it up, and then they have 3 things to choose from, agendas, minutes, and forms. So that gets them to the forms real quickly, and if it's
Yeah, it's 2
highlighted in,
steps, yeah.
but it's 2 steps to get there, but it's right there in front of them as the first item. I kind of prefer the forms to be up under there too.
Okay, it's there.
That's just my
I'm not-
preference, and I think that's what Sarah
Is that
said.
same, that's the vote? We'll do it, okay.
And then
Try a little.
recent news was,
It's gonna go up,
I don't know how much stuff we would have under recent news.
okay, that's,
Some.
yeah, that, even that's a process change that I gotta resolve. Ellen Griffin in the video, that's the first one.
What?
Oh, no, in terms of the agenda and the minutes, this includes, the
Try Groton.
agenda,
who did
then you
that?
have the minutes loaded up to it, and then you have a video link.
Oh, there was a
See,
video
all
link?
this kind
Yeah.
of stuff should right
You can
be
look
on
at that.
front.
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
video.
and you're, oh, cool.
Yeah, so what they do is, that, you know, if,
Wait a minute,
if you want to go and.
it's not on the live area, it's in the sandbox?
It's in the sandbox, not
Oh.
live. It's only in the sandbox.
Did you hear that?
No.
Tell her.
Well, if you go into the sandbox, you'll find there's agenda and minutes, but there's also a little block in there to take you into the outside YouTube location.
Oh, that's great.
For your
Yeah.
videos.
For
I
your
think
video.
that is fantastic.
So you get all 3 of those in there.
And then I've got the forms there,
But I
too.
still need to resolve
But
the
it's-
issue with Ellen Griffin, with loading it, and the,
What, I'm sorry, what's the issue though?
I'm trying to get somebody else to put the link in.
For the video?
For the video.
That's, that's not anything that the town clerk's gonna do.
No, but we don't even know where they are half the time.
I can't, we just had that conversation.
Yeah, we don't even know. So, my last one, still need to contact Ellen Video for loading it up. And the agenda is loaded up, but needs minutes and videos. That was what my conversation with Carol was gonna be for today.
I like this button option.
Well, it's a look, we need to have a consistent look and feel.
With the rest
Yeah,
of the.
with the rest of the
And
town. We had
I'm
that.
not gonna try to
No problem.
revise
No
that.
problem.
Sarah,
You're quite correct. There are other ways to approach it.
Yeah, we tried to generate initially an icon-based thing like
I got it.
policies and.
Well, and she's
our
got
system.
buttons there, but either way, it's still gonna be,
It doesn't
I-
work. It
let's-
doesn't work.
let's just
I yield.
use
Let's
the,
move on.
so, agendas and minutes, and when you click on minutes, you have the option of doing videos. So
That's correct.
the only question is, how do we execute that? Because we don't have anybody to highlight
Automatically go
those
in.
videos into.
I don't know. The only
Yeah.
way we can do is dump them into. the
Well,
YouTube.
what I had suggested, if you were to look at Leominster's public access, they have channels, including government
Yeah.
and public and educational. Ours is all
Together.
not channeled.
Groton is
So
changed,
I've made
too.
this suggestion to one of our people today, that maybe next time that they meet, they could talk about maybe doing some sub-channels.
Yeah. I
Which,
think
that would
public-
make this easier. You
Yeah.
just point to the sub-channel.
Yeah,
And
if
they
we
are
had 'em.
super receptive to making things better.
Right.
Their whole thing is so everybody
Right.
can access the information.
Yeah, and you get you've got a pack, one group, the pack videos, and the other side of it is YouTube. Who are you gonna use? Who are you gonna call to get in there? And I don't know that yet. So that's why I've gotta get to Ellen.
Well, and it's not, probably not the town clerk's
movie.
office, so
Yeah.
we'll have to find
And
somebody
at
else.
the same time, Kara doesn't wanna touch it, and I don't blame her.
Okay,
That's
so
no-
we've got number 1, agenda and minutes. And
And
videos.
forms.
And forms.
Well, the videos would be attached to the minutes.
Yeah, well, if you can go to the site.
That'd be great.
Do you have the temp
Okay,
site?
so we agree on that. We don't know how to get it done, but, okay, let's put that there.
Yeah,
Next, recent news, right?
Right.
That's number
right,
two.
recent news.
And are we putting the tax rate information there? Or are
I
we
would do it
keeping separate?
separately.
So number 3 is tax rate information.
I think.
Then,
Number 3 is tax rate information. Where's that?
instead of saying.
It's currently 5.
5, and that's gonna become number 3.
Instead of online GIS, because let's face it, not everybody understands what GIS is and property data, say, find your abode, find your house.
Someone else's house too. Oh, and that's just a
And that should
question.
be number 4, find your house,
Find your house is gonna be number 4?
yeah.
And
That's your Board of Assessors.
That's nope, that's
No.
currently online GIS maps, et cetera.
Okay, so you want to make that number 4.
And I kind of like that, because
Okay, that's fine.
that's, if you're going out to the assessor's website, what are you looking for?
They don't care.
See what your neighbor's assessed for.
See what your neighbor's assessment.
Yes.
Find your neighbor's house. We should put that, call it that.
Okay,
I can't believe this is worth that much.
Okay, so then we've got a bit,
No, but so that, then
then.
everything
what?
else below here,
Yeah,
which is below where?
anything below here, so so we did this,
Okay.
we've done this, oh yeah, and then I think the 5th one on this first page is facts.
Okay,
Okay.
number 5.
so that's number 5.
I think.
I think so, because we don't
Sure.
want that to be buried.
And then there's,
Abatements.
nope,
No? Oh.
What about your Board of
Resources.
Assessors? Where's the
okay.
Board of
Oh,
Assessors now?
Resources.
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 So we put a Board of Assessors under the resources.
Yep. So,
Since we already have forms up here, we can do
1,
abatements, we can do
2,
all of this
3,
stuff
4,
under
5,
resources. It's all resources, isn't it?
yeah.
So what are you
Is there a
calling
resource?
resources now?
Pretty much everything from
Everything else.
7 down.
Oh, wait.
Well, then
What's
you
currently,
have- you have to
what's
have
currently
sub-
listed as
You have
7.
to have subgroups.
So we are at.
No, I know,
Right now, we have 5 numbered things.
we do. I'm
Then
just,
the next thing you want, 1 through 5, after 5, so that would be resources, and then right under that would be abatement. So resource is a new subsection?
and inside of that, you want abatements, is that what you?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be the
I'm
first
okay
thing
with
on
that.
that page. So I'm saying, so if I understand this right, Jack,
Yeah?
you've got the first big splash page, right?
Yeah, the
It's
first one,
1, 2,
citizens
3,
and
4,
assessors.
5, right? And then we want a resources, we'll
So-
call it 6, it'll be number 6 on this sheet, and
Yep.
then.
most
at-
everything else here goes
After we
under
go
it.
from resources, when you get into resources, the first thing on there should be the abatements,
Right.
right?
So
So that'll be
should we call them
one-
6A or something?
Yeah, 6A.
Is that?
I'm just trying to,
Okay, just, I'm not keeping up with it, that's okay.
Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, just keep writing. I'll
Well,
catch up
and
with
we-
you.
The forms, although.
Oh, the forms.
I'm just wondering what okay, we turned around and we said the Board of Assessors was gonna get pushed down into the assessor
Resources.
too, into resources, someplace into resources,
And then
okay.
also how to get to,
yeah, these two went back together, right?
yeah, so 6 and 8 are together. Original 6 and 8, the abatements that are in green, and the appeals,
It was 7.
oh, it was 7. Well, the one in green
The one in green,
is now 6A, and that is combined with appeals that was formerly 8.
right.
That's 6B,
Okay.
or those combined.
What? We have no 6B.
No, 6B.
Okay, just they're all part of 6, okay.
6 is resources, abatements, exemptions, and deferrals, and appeals are 6A. So they're underneath the umbrella of
They're
resources.
together, under
Right.
resources.
Yes. Then
Um,
what?
Okay, DOR, sales, valuation analysis, investigation reports.
So.
That was there before, I didn't dump it, but
No,
there was,
no.
there was some
No,
good
we
stuff
don't
there.
It probably needs to be further down the list, though, I think. I'm not sure.
Do we want, well, under resources, maybe we want personal exemption information? No. Is there a spot for motor vehicles in here?
Oh, crap.
Personal property?
We got nothing for motor vehicles on here?
There is. It just goes into a whole state piece, but the
Oh,
one.
it's down
I'm-
here.
Which one is it?
It's under Assessor's Site Inspection and Data Collection Handbook.
Yeah, but there's also there's an exemption section up here.
Vehicles should be up closer.
Right.
Yeah, we want motor vehicles
top,
to be
'cause
with
that's
the
what-
resources.
Property
'cause
exemptions, Brian.
That's what a lot of questions are. How do I,
Personal
Where?
exemption information.
You get tax abatements up here, right? I can't see that far. Okay, which one, the header with the tax? Okay, if you were to go back to old number 7,
Oh, it's under tax abatements you have here.
is
Yeah.
that what you said?
Yes. My 3 layers of progressives. Where? Where's that? Oh, under property exemptions. Can we
I need to put numbers next to
see
these.
that? Is it?
It's up here, under 6, under what was 7 before.
Okay, so it's in there. So we don't need to do more there.
Well, but should it be higher up?
Oh,
Because people are going to be interested in that.
so we could put abatements, exemptions, and deferrals, right? And say,
You leave it right at that, as that whole section.
can we, because when people think abatements, exemptions, and deferrals, are they mostly thinking their home?
Property.
Can we make, 6A be home abatements, exemptions, and deferrals, and the 6B in resources be personal property, other personal property like vehicles?
Right. Hey, now you are changing.
I don't know.
but This is the official state
Personal
name.
property,
Property
vehicles only
tax
come under
deferrals.
personal
seniors.
property if
That's
it's
the
on,
official.
and it's not
name.
registered.
So if we can add.
What is this?
Okay, I'm looking like something like deferrals. Okay.
So-
Go to 6, go to number 7, old number 7.
Oh, yeah, we weren't up
6A
there yet. We're
abatements,
still up here.
exemptions, and
Okay,
deferrals,
so just, whatever name you see is
home
what's
abatements,
on the name of
exemptions,
the
and
catalog.
deferrals.
Or on the
motor
guidance.
vehicle exemptions and deferrals, right?
Well, they don't have deferrals in motor
Oh,
vehicle.
yeah, you just
Motor
cross that off.
vehicle,
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm just
Well, you
thinking,
would say
if I go to resources,
vehi-
real property, maybe we should do real property and, I don't know, maybe not.
maybe we can just keep it
Per-
under,
Real property, personal property, under personal property would be motor vehicle, but then it's buried too
No,
far.
no. Motor vehicles
I-
only come under personal property if it's a vehicle that's
I
on the
know.
property and it's not registered.
I know.
so can we do home abatements, motor vehicle abatements, personal property?
And most
I
of your
don't know if
personal
you know.
property is going to be in small businesses in this town.
Right.
So you want a personal property section?
Well, under resources,
Yeah.
we were just thinking, like, some people are gonna go right for their house. There are people who want to look for motor vehicles. And there are other people who have personal property, but Rena was saying those are mostly businesses.
So
Most of your personal property is small businesses.
forms, does motor vehicle, should that be under forms?
Exemption. Motor vehicle abatements.
Should be under forms,
Yes,
Which
it
you
should be
moved
under
up the
forms,
top.
but
which would move to the very top.
So Brian, right here,
how to, and what
you've
you
got
need
that
to
whole
apply
line.
for a
I'm just
motor
gonna move
vehicle
it right up
abatement.
into there.
I'm sorry, what was the
And
last? thing?
also what you need, the paperwork you need to apply for a motor.
Oh, yeah, we need to explain, because nobody comes in with the right paperwork ever.
Right.
Even if they did it last year, they're not doing it right this year.
So,
So
if
we
they
haven't-
go to forms,
I don't do it right, so.
so if they go to forms on the first page, can we have a link from forms to motor vehicle abatement forms
Yes,
Yeah,
and what you need?
right. Sarah, there's a whole state link that takes you to the whole
Okay.
pages, and that's what we've got in here. I'm gonna move property exemptions and things out of taxpayers, and I'm gonna move it up to agendas, mission, minutes, and forms and guides.
So,
oh, good.
yeah, link it to the right form and then Yeah.
And you have the guides.
And then we
all
can just
there.
get rid of that in the
Right.
resource section, right?
Yeah, that's gonna move out.
And the abatements are gonna go up there, all of them, right? And so then resources,
All the abatements are gonna go up to the first one?
No.
no,
Or into resources, isn't abatements going into resources, no?
The
the
forms,
forms,
Taxpayer forms and guides is going, you wanted it up there with agendas, minutes, forms,
well,
and.
what I was thinking is, you have up here, the first thing you have is the agenda minutes and forms.
Mm-hmm.
When you get to that page, could you have a link under the forms?
Oh, absolutely.
That send them to these places?
That's what happens
So
when
you don't have another drop-down menu, to build.
Right, you're gonna get a little check mark, and they're gonna click on that, and that'll take you to that section, or it'll take you right to that state link.
Yep.
That you get.
Yes,
yep,
One of the other.
yeah, so you don't have to look somewhere else to get to it.
Right. Well, that was,
Yes,
when you were building the index or the sitemap, you also could build in the link. If you just had a big sitemap at the end, and someone spot it real first, they click on it, it'll take you right
Wow.
to that state location or whatever location.
and then, so in resources, we don't really need the abatement forms anymore, because they're gonna be linked, or we don't need the abatement information there, because it's gonna be linked from the forms page, right?
well, the form will be there, but what about other information about abatement? Should we have other things there? And I'm not sure we do or don't.
And we had, let's see, Town of Lunenburg abatement information application, and that's really the state form. And then the fiscal year real estate abatement application, that was a PDF that you filled in. And they just typed it in, and the application for real estate 2023 personal property. So you don't want personal property in with just regular tax abatements? You want it separated, the whole personal
I
property?
was just thinking, if you're at the forms spot,
It's on the same form.
it's on
Same.
the form, you link to the information they need to fill out the form properly,
Right.
right next to the form, and this takes them there, and we don't have as many drop-downs, but, it's a preference thing, it's not really,
And Rena, is the
somebody
person,
from town will come back and tell us what we need to do better.
I hope they continue, we need a continual stream of, we're gonna make little incremental improvements.
So I think you added some stuff to the forms, we have the resources that are 6A, right? And then what else do we want under resources? Do we want to say, assessor's toolbox?
Well,
Like, which of these things do we think are most important to have
What's in
for
the
residents?
toolbox?
I kinda looked at the assessor's toolbox as the things that we wanted to be pulling in and looking at, and it's a place to
Okay.
store data.
Oh, so
And
that's,
educate.
most people
People
citizens will not be looking at that for
Yeah.
any
Right.
reason. They won't
Yeah.
have to, okay,
Okay,
okay.
so we've got resources, and that's the 6A stuff. Is there anything else that we need under there, or could we just?
Under resources?
Yeah,
Well, I don't know where you ask for a butters list, certified abutters lists. Should that be under, is that under forms? It's not gonna come up under forms, is it?
There is a form,
That you fill out.
there is a form they have to fill out to
On that
apply
same-
for an abutters list, but I don't know where it is on all this.
oh, it's way down here.
It's
Should we
on,
put
it's
it
our
up with
number
the
10,
forms?
but it needs to be included with the forms if
So
we
10
can.
needs,
Put it on
the
the forms?
certified abutters list needs to go.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay. So then the only other thing that we have here that could go under resources, the DOR, sales and value investigations.
And that's even a question unto itself. The investigation never was completed.
Yeah,
right?
so can we just,
And it was in there before, and I'm hesitant to take it out, because I don't know what that means if I took it out. And
I would leave it, I think the select
Just
board
leave
is
it.
still on the hook to give us that.
yeah, yep, so that can just go under the resources. So we have, what, 6 headers now?
We can be down to 6.
Yeah.
We're saying,
Well, 6 headers, and you've got the assessor's toolbox, which is really kind
Yeah,
of
the
It's a
other-
separate.
separate thing,
right,
right?
and that
7,
becomes a
yeah.
separate group.
Okay,
We could call the assessor's toolbox 7 and just.
yeah,
So those are the major categories, with 6, 7 things. This
Okay.
includes forms, includes virtually everything you need as a form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so you'll see a new number next to it, but I have to give Kara a way of following it, so I gotta stay with those old numbers. Not a big deal, it's just a way of
I'm fine.
giving
Yeah.
her a trail
We're
to
just giving
follow.
you the order that goes in that blue
Okay.
box.
Okay. I can have this to you for the next meeting without a problem. If you want, I can send you a high-def PDF that you can go take a look at it on your own. On your computer, if
We
you
can just
want.
double check to make sure that we were able to, we all interpreted this the same,
I'm sure we didn't.
because I'm sure we didn't. No, but
That's okay.
having
That's
said that,
okay.
I really would like us to sort of wrap this thing up
Yep.
by maybe the next
Next
meeting.
meeting.
So that we can,
Okay, now Kara says she's not gonna do anything, and I'm not sure she's even gonna do the other new list, until she has an approval from the board.
right, so while we're all sort of in sync here, if you create this,
Yeah.
send it off to us.
Yeah.
Now, we can double check to make sure it says all the things we think it needs to say,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can either send this to you, or I can send it to Kara and say, the board has worked through this, and we can.
Whatever
How
works
do you
here.
want to do
How Kara seems to work best is that I do give her something like this, and when we do meet, and I give her, now I'm giving her individual sets of instructions. If I gave her all these instructions without this, it would not.
So how about you remake this with what you think we just discussed here and send it out to all of us? And
And
then
I can send it to you in a PDF form, or you can wait till the next meeting, whatever that is.
I think we could send it in PDF because we've discussed this
Yeah.
and it's available to
Just get a
everybody.
big screen so you can see it.
Yeah.
Or you're gonna make, it gets really tough to see. And now, do you just want the big header groups, or you want me to include, there's a subgroup even beyond that, but you just want to see the big list?
Just
The big, the
list.
colored
I think-
ones, the
I
colored
think the big
ones.
list is what, because all the rest of this stuff, I mean, like the DOR sales and value analysis, it's LA3, LA15,
Yeah.
LA4, we already know what that stuff is, and it's gonna be under there, that's fine.
Okay, so there was a couple of things that were associated with this. First of all, we have a vision, mission statement, and things like that. I know we talked about it a long time ago, but I just want to make sure that that piece doesn't,
So-
it helps us to, which direction we're gonna go.
So I think we have
But
our layout and then from there we'll have to figure out the
The
documents.
next details? Good, okay.
And I think we need to, yes, let's try to declare success next time, be close to finalizing, whatever final is, and then we can just move forward with whatever changes we want to make, we will make them individually, I mean, as a group.
Yeah.
But we'll make those changes individually, so we can move on, the design is done, and now it's the content that the reason I put this in as
like that.
two different items, one was design improvements, make sure that links are active and current, test plan, well, once you have this all set, we can give this over to Kara, she can then tell us, yep, I've made all the changes, we can go in and test it, so that the test plan could be, we're by early June, we're done. Or not, if something doesn't work, and then a release schedule, so pull the trigger.
And just, yeah.
And then we'll make changes as we go. But you
It's
no
good to
longer,
always change it.
you no longer need to lead up a program to do this, or
Right.
We
project,
can
I'm
just look at
sorry.
the individual files.
We can just look at the things we want to add.
Right.
And
right,
as we
right,
go,
right.
we can, and where does that go? Well, it goes here.
Yeah.
Oh, we need to add another major category. Well, okay,
Okay.
I didn't
And
think of it.
I really do like the idea of shrinking the numbers of categories down.
Yep.
And
Yep.
making, like,
Yep.
the question, the debate that I'm having with Kara is, do we do an index or do we do a site map? Because there's a ton of stuff, and, I will,
Well, when you look at a website, you often don't get an index, you just get a website, and here's what the
You
list
just
of
click on
things
what
is,
you're
and you click
interested
on
in.
what you're interested in.
It-
So I'm not sure we need an index as such.
Okay, I'll send you the
The little links
research.
are sort of their
I'll
own
send you the
index.
research, and whatever you guys decide is fine.
So-
It's just that you gotta make it, the less energy a person has to use to find an answer, the more likely they're gonna use you as a document.
Sure.
It's all about less energy. And the easier way we can make it easy for people to find stuff, or even do a search, the better. And if there's two ways.
Oh, crap.
Which way, when you go look at something, a piece of software, where do you go? You go to the site map? You try to figure it out?
You go to the website.
No, beyond that. when, when you
This
look
is
at-
going to be mostly for our citizens.
this
They're
is a
going to go to
website.
the website.
Yeah.
They're not going to go looking for a site map.
No, the site map just tells you where to look.
But
I'm not going to them.
Okay.
I'm going to the drop down, and if
Okay.
I can't find it in
that's
3
how
clicks.
most citizens will.
Now,
If
the
I
other,
can't find it in 3 clicks, I'm using a search feature.
well,
that was
there's
what I-
another way. You don't even have to go to the half. What you do is you go Google, right? You say Lunenburg Assessors, and you say something like abatement note. If you have something sitting in a site map, it will Google goes out and recognizes it and takes you right to it. You bypass the manual altogether. You know what I mean?
No,
Okay.
I don't. And
If I say, I want to know what the abatement policy is in Lunenburg, well, okay, that means you have to go to the manual. But and if you go to Lunenburg abatement policy, more likely than not, the search engine will find something referencing the site map or your index. And then it'll come back and take you, and there'll be a link to it. They'll link you to those
if I
sites.
do a search for,
Make it easy for your
that.
search engines.
won't it give me what I'm looking for anyway?
I don't know.
What does Kara recommend? Because she designs websites.
Kara recommended nothing, but I did some research, and I used my Gemini artificial intelligence, and I pose questions to it, and then it comes back after them. It comes back and gives you a recommendation with regard to what you're saying. Right now, the research is saying, if something is big and as complex like that, they actually recommend both. So, and I'll send it to you. I'll let you guys take it. Have you tried using that yet, Sarah? What do you use for search?
When I go to, well, I have used AI for 2 things.
Yeah?
One, I write what I want to look up. Oh,
Yeah,
I
exactly.
write what I'm doing, and I ask it to specifically correct my grammar.
I'm getting on to that.
To make sure that my verb tense
Matches
matches
the other stuff.
syntax. The other thing I do is I take student work and I load it in there
To see if they copyrighted it.
to see if
They stole it.
they stole it. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Because it's scouring the internet and coming up with
Mhm.
plenty of things, but I still prefer to read the cited literature
Yeah, yeah,
rather than an AI scrape of the internet.
yeah. So if I,
And I prefer to consult the expert on making something rather than using AI, but everybody has their preference.
yeah. I do
I've seen a
something
lot of
similar.
mistakes from
Yeah.
AI.
And I always quote AI. You're absolutely
Hilariously
right.
wrong.
It is.
So like, I don't know enough about web design to
Okay.
evaluate whether Gemini AI is
It's
correct or not.
Before it was Droid or something, and now it's Gemini.
I would,
Okay.
Okay, so if I could, just a couple more things.
On the website?
On the website.
Okay.
I was looking to add the functional roles and responsibilities piece into that section in terms of who's doing what from ours. And I know that was perceived as, that got an immediate response, well, that needs a review.
It absolutely.
Yeah.
What you're essentially
so if you
asking
could
for is
take-
an org chart with roles and responsibilities. We haven't agreed to anything, so we're not
Right,
putting
and-
anything out there till we agree to it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And I didn't, even the roles, I didn't, if you notice, I didn't connect the lines in terms of
so
responsibilities.
those
employee.
for me are like the individual docs that we will get together and review,
Right,
Okay.
as we
yeah.
go.
which is the next phase.
So I
So-
won't, I'm not gonna load that into the site, but
Right.
from an employee's perspective and things like that, and who owns what piece, and especially like we're trying
Well,
to come with a calendar, who owns this piece?
So,
Who is reviewing?
one of the problems with that is there's so much overlap because everybody does a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
So, I don't know how you say, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing that, when in fact, Linda's out this week, so Rena's doing everything.
Well, you're right.
The week that Rena's out, Linda does everything. And when they're here, they are both sharing the work across motor vehicle excise, across abatements, across inspections. They're sharing the work. So I don't know how we lay it out
Yeah.
and say, you're the final person who we go
It's-
to when we
And when you get a work team, line of sight, it's a lot easier. But as soon as you move out of the department, like, okay, we've got to send some financial information to whatever department, you want to at least have defined the format, what information is going to get transferred. And so you can do an interdepartmental responsibility. You don't have to call out the individual, but.
Like, I know
That's,
this,
go
I
ahead.
know this is really important to you, Jack. It's just that I find all the other things that we have to do here
Mhm.
as a higher priority for me.
That's fine. Oh, I'm.
But I get what you're looking for. And I also know that inside the office, things are still in a lot of flux, so
Yeah.
I don't even know how I would assign some of these things.
I agree.
We still don't have the admin person, and don't know when that's gonna happen. And we just got the approval for the data collector,
Right.
but that really can't happen till after the first of the year, and then it's gonna have to be posted and interviewed, and so we are gonna be running with
With 2.5 people.
two people for quite some time.
Do you have a
So-
headache, right?
Tired.
Oh, I know, I hear you. Okay.
So, okay, thank you.
And-
That was, okay. And was
And
there
I
one?
still have the issue, I spoke with Adam at town meeting, and I promised him I would send him a flow chart with regard to how we can not get in trouble with an open meeting law, and how we can perhaps communicate via, I referenced a case, referencing case law and things, but essentially how you could have, Sarah, sent this to us in advance, and then.
Wow, she could easily have done that because we talked about it at the last meeting. We
Okay, as
asked
long
her
as
to
you
go
get
and
the-
do
yeah.
that, so she could have sent this to us a week ago if she had had the time. She didn't.
Right, but I'm saying.
She
that-
clearly
That's
didn't, but she could have sent this to us a week ago and we could have reviewed it. We got it
Because we
today
said we were
because
gonna do it and we
it was
agreed to it.
already committed to in the meeting. So there's no reason we can't commit to things in meetings, follow up on them and review them at the next meeting. That's
So I can give
exactly
you-
the process I
could
think
give
that,
you a big list of things, and say, please put these on the agenda so the public sees it.
And
But if I
we may
generate-
not put them on the agenda, because
Yeah.
this was on the agenda.
Yeah.
If you give me a list of 20 things, I might put one on the agenda and say, I don't have time to do all the rest of it.
So if I'm generating documents and sending them in,
No,
For your
that's not what we
thoughts,
asked.
then.
That's
I'm
not what we
invi-
asked. We
No,
didn't
no,
ask you to
I'm-
generate a document. We didn't ask you to generate a document.
Okay,
When did we ask? We asked her to generate a document.
Okay.
Which she did. We asked her to generate the how to review your card. We asked her
Yeah.
to generate this proposal on how to do the neighborhood thing. So we asked her to do that. So now we could talk about it here because she sent it to us and we have an opportunity to review it. We talked about it in public meeting. If you just start sending willy-nilly documents, which is what some of these have been, then we can't look at them because we've not asked you to
Right.
do it.
I am
In a
sensitive
public
to
meeting.
Sarah's frustration and saying. "You
Not just
sent me a
Sarah's. But go ahead,
piece-" Okay, fine, you're kidding me.
go ahead.
Okay, so anyway, I'm trying to find a way in which I can communicate something and it becomes available to the public at the same time that I communicate it to you.
If you bring it up at a meeting, we put it on the agenda, then you can communicate
Yeah.
whatever you want.
But it's gotta go on the agenda.
I don't know that it has to be previously on the agenda. It's not what the ruling in the court said.
The ruling of, it's actually up to us to set our policy. And right now, my policy, until somebody tells me to change it, is that if it's on the agenda, we can talk about it, and then we'll put a document together, or we'll talk about it at the next meeting. But, and by the way, we have that latitude. We can adopt
Anything we want.
whatever we want as far as communicating, as long as we do it in a public way.
Right, and that's the
So,
intent.
so you writing up documents and sending them out to the website for everybody to read doesn't really do it to me, for me.
So-
I don't want to do documents out to the website that nobody's looked at before.
Or we post it, but I don't even,
And I don't wanna open a document and find a bunch of, some data, but then a lot of opinions.
Right.
Because I feel like those should be aired
Here.
here
I
in
agree.
public. And I think sometimes I have a very different opinion about what is an opinion
Yeah.
and what is fact, from you. on occasion. And so I actually do like the policy of saying, hey, if it's important enough that we need to write about it to each other, it's important enough to say, we need to make this an agenda topic. Because if it's that important that it's got to be sent, it's that important to share with the public. And not an email until we have discussed things in public and decided what we're trying to produce. That's how I would like to see things run.
Okay.
So,
So, as long-
if you have a proposal for how you'd like to do it differently,
yeah,
and you're gonna pass that by the town council, and he's gonna go, yeah, that would work, then you need to come back here and
I
pass
will.
that by
Well,
us.
that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm
For
saying.
us to say, yeah, that'll work for me, or not. And
Yeah.
we may say not, we may
Right.
say yes.
So I owe Adam a flow in terms of how it could work, and he will come back and critique it. And when I've covered those hurdles, I will come back and say, hey, folks, what do you think?
Perfect. So when you think you're gonna be ready for that, let's put it on an agenda, and we can share whatever we've got.
And I told Adam it was a couple of weeks before I got
Wow.
these days. I'm gonna, are you kidding me? I want my life back. Right now. I so want my life back.
We have a lot of real work to do that needs to be done. We talked about some of the subcommittees that we're gonna put together, and the investigations that we have to do, and the corrections that we have to make. So that sort of falls further down the priority list. But if
Okay.
you can finish something up, and Adam thinks that he's given it his blessing, this would work, then we'll take a look at that, review it, and decide if that's what we want to do.
Okay,
All right. can
and then
we
that's
move to
perfect.
the
Just
next?
one last question. If, like in this particular document, I've copied down but I may be not clear. How do I go about contacting you folks to say?
We just talked about
We
that.
just talked
You've
about
talked
it,
about
so
it,
you
but I
can
can
contact
talk to you
us.
on the phone
No.
and get clarification?
No, we can't, well, oh. No. Because that excludes the public and the other member.
On where we put, numbers,
can-
what
You
numbers?
can send it to us.
You can
say,
send
here's
it
what,
to us.
here's what I interpreted what we did
Okay.
tonight for several minutes. And is this what we want, is this what we all agreed to? And we can go yay or nay, or, oh, this one's
It'll
not
take us
quite right.
another 2 more rounds. Then,
Well,
can I have your piece of paper?
Yeah. I was pretending to use it as a telescope.
And then I will,
She's seeing
then
into
I'll
the
be able to
future.
narrow it down. Where's yours? Did I steal yours?
Folded it up and put it right here, because I don't want.
Well, do you want to hold on to it, or you want to let me try and figure out what your hand scratching looks like?
You can see if my hand scratching's anything like hers,
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
because we may have put different things down.
seen
No,
it.
that's what I'm
Possibility.
anticipating.
That's a possibility that they're gonna be different, so,
All
yes.
right, are we
okay.
on to
Thank you.
So,
future topics? No. We just did
well,
that.
we just
BOE.
finished up the status of the website. We are supposed to be on future topics.
Okay.
And one of the things is policies. So the policy, over the past couple of weeks, we do know that if you were to request an abutters list, certified abutters list, we have 2 weeks, 10 working days to respond to that. Over the past 2 weeks, I've had phone calls to come up here right now and sign this friggin' piece of paper that some attorney somewhere sent us that didn't really
Such
need. And I think we should adopt a policy where we will respond to requests for signatures within 10 business days.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that unreasonable? Especially where I may not be in town for a week, here and there. We should have some time, if whoever the chairperson is at that time,
Vice Chair would sign.
maybe.
Well, that's kind of funny if it's at like 2 in the afternoon.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep, yep.
It's not going to happen.
So,
Well, the clerk can sign.
so
maybe.
I think we need to write up a policy, and if you
Okay.
want, I won't do it till, or if somebody wants to take that down and write it up, fine, that's great, but.
I'm okay with you writing it.
So for the certified abutter,
Well, currently certified abutters lists are, we have up to 10 business days. I think that's state law, is it not?
Are you getting a request to sign them today?
I'm getting requests to
Yeah,
sign
this
documents
was-
from attorneys on that day.
This was kind of something very unusual, because this attorney wanted a document that I had never seen before. And when the rollback taxes were paid and the lien was released, it has always been it's always been that after the lien release is the proving that the rollback taxes have been paid.
Right.
And this attorney had some other form he got from God knows
I
where.
think he made it up.
I never saw it before, and he kept sending, no, I need this signed for all these 3 parcels, and when the lien release was done, it included all the parcels, so it was a very unusual situation, not anything I've ever encountered before. And this attorney, because any attorney, when the rollback taxes are paid, and then we do the lien release. So the lien release proves that they paid their rollback taxes. They're not released until those rollback taxes are paid. So this was, and this attorney was,
It was unusual, and the reason that I went ahead and rushed up to sign documents was because it was putting the homeowner, the landowner, in a bind because they had a closing that day.
Ah.
You can't send me something to be signed today and expect it to be signed today.
Today.
So if we have a policy, we can just say, sorry, policy is this.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, if we can do something for you, we might, but it's not,
Sorry.
we're not at your beck and call 24/7. Yeah, I
Yep.
see what you're saying. I just didn't understand what was going on entirely.
No, I didn't really understand.
in things like a butters list, we usually get the email with the form on it, and 99% of the time, a butters list is so easy to do, we just go on and do them, and they usually have them within a day or 2.
We have up to 10 days. We don't take 10 days.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
no,
But if they know that, don't expect it for 2 weeks, well, at
So-
least they know.
You said he came up with a unique abutter. I thought the state had one abutters list.
No,
that you
no,
used.
no.
planning board has different, it's the
Really?
same form,
Yeah.
but planning board has 300 feet, conservation has 100 feet, so it's different, it's a different parameter around who the abutters are.
Okay.
Let's get Adam Costa to write this up. Never mind.
I know.
It just seems like a
So
legal,
it'd be a function of the source of a request.
Well,
Okay.
it's just, I'll put something together and
okay. Right.
I'll base it upon how the
It
state
just needs to be
requirement
posted
is.
on, yeah. I see what you're saying, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. What were you talking about?
A
Posted?
public records request is 10 days.
Public records request is 10 days, and a butters list is 10 days. All kinds of things are 10 days. Except Brian needs to come up and sign this now.
Well, they know the device is not available.
May I mention something that is not on the agenda?
I would.
Sure.
I'm not going to tell anybody. Go ahead.
So Rena and I were looking at some properties today and discovered that we have some properties that have neighborhood 0. I'm sorry, site index 0, which is not a site index at all. And we were trying to figure out, somebody came in for an abatement, said, why is this person looking for an abatement? Oh, wait a minute, their site index 0, their value is this, but it not really, I don't know how we arrived at the value at all. And we do have quite a number of parcels that are site index 0. So, which is a non-site index. So we need to go investigate how many we have,
What makes
trying
you
to
think we have
fix.
quite a few?
because, okay, I'll take back that. We have at least one
Right.
site index 0. I believe we have more than that by dozen.
How did
Yeah,
that?
that's a good mouse theory. That's the mouse theory, yeah. Dozen or so.
And I just want to we need to investigate the site index zeros and get them corrected. I don't know if we need to have a team do that. It's nothing we need to press for right now.
Well, first we have to run a report to find out just what they are and
Right.
how many we
And
have
can
Right.
you run that from here?
from Vision.
So Vision runs it for us, or?
No, we can run it from
She
ours,
can run
but
it, yeah.
Okay.
So if I could impose upon you, Rena, I know this is a busy week because it's you alone in the office, so if it can't happen till next week, that's okay. If we get a report of how many site index zeros we have and what they look like, and then we could figure out what to do with them.
well, we just
do
go
is
and put the
sort
right
by
site
site
indexes on. That's what you do with them.
Well, and we may know that the site indexes are straightforward. There may be some where we have, well, I'm not sure. Like, which one is it, Lakeview? Is it,
Okay. That's
I don't know what they
interesting.
are. Is it neighborhood 1, neighborhood 3, neighborhood 2? I don't know.
What are they?
So,
Okay.
that was
All
just
right.
something I think we need to investigate, and
The next thing
Good
on
catch.
the
Wasn't on the
meeting
agenda.
schedule.
the next meeting,
Oh, meetings.
we need to talk about our upcoming meetings. June 3rd is the first Monday, I think.
Yeah, I can do that.
We have 24 abatements today, some of which we'll be able to take care of at the May 20th meeting. I don't know how many by then. That means there'll still be some probably that aren't ready. So I would suggest that we want to go ahead with the June 3rd meeting if we can all make it,
I can
Yeah.
make that. Yep.
okay? The next Monday after that would be June 17th.
I can't make that. Can we do the Monday before that? Possibly?
That would be consecutive weeks.
I know.
I can do that.
Can we do it the Monday after? 24th?
No.
Oh, crap. Then
Sorry.
tentative June 10th. I'll call it tentative for now.
That's Tuesday.
I'm sorry, June
10th is Monday.
10th is
Oh.
Monday, I think. June 10th, not July.
Oh, I just can't number. We're good.
Is that,
Because Monday's the 3rd. It's
I have a calendar.
The 10th is, you're right. You're right.
Monday is June 10th is on a Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, I just had it.
what we'll have to do is,
Sorry.
if we do wind up meeting that date, we'll have to have a different location, because this location will be taken.
Mm.
And then I would like to at least consider maybe going back to once a month during July and August, just because people are not that much available. We will have gone through the bulk of the really pressing things that have a schedule on them. And I know we have a lot to do, but it'd be nice to be able to,
Well,
cut that back a little
I'm
bit.
okay with that, because I will probably be doing a bunch of other meetings.
oh yeah, you have some meetings to do.
Yeah.
July and August, right now, only tentatively, once a month.
Yeah.
That works for you?
Oh, it's during summer? Sure.
And I don't know, it would either be the first or third. My leaning would be toward the third, but we'll see what they look
The
like.
3rd of,
The
the third
third,
week?
the third Monday, which I don't know the dates.
15th of July.
That's the
is
third
that the
Monday.
3rd Monday?
What,
Yep,
what,
that would be.
what do you want for,
And what's
a
the,
month?
what's the August third Monday?
the 19th?
19.
That won't work for me.
Okay,
12?
so we'll do.
Wait, let me double check my calendar.
How about almost the
'Cause
third Monday?
I got
It could be the
Hold on a
12th.
second.
So July, you're doing the 15th?
I'll have to double check my schedule on that.
Yeah.
calendar.
I know
Not the
we're good.
19th, perhaps the 12th?
I'm just double checking my calendar right now, because I do
And
things.
these are not cast in concrete, these are still tentative, but
So we're talking July 15th-ish.
ish.
Oh, I'm out of town.
Okay.
But I can be available on the 22nd. Just I'm at a GIS conference in San Diego.
22nd?
I-
Ish.
You can go ahead. Right now, I'm showing myself up at Tenants Harbor with the kids. So, but I can call.
You can zoom in.
I can zoom in.
And August, you said 19th was
Let me check.
unlikely? These are just tentative.
Oh, I can do the 19th, actually.
19th-ish?
I had that confused.
Of August. Yeah.
Is that a Monday?
It is.
His calendar starts on Monday, that's why. So we'll put those out there as tentative dates. July 22nd, so June 3rd, 10th,
Okay.
not till July 22nd, that's kind of a long period.
I could,
I hate to do the 8th, it's my anniversary.
oh,
Don't do that. Do not do that.
don't
Do you
it.
remember our anniversaries? They don't happen anymore because I'm sitting in this friggin' meeting.
Don't do that.
Yeah, so,
This is
yeah, I'm
your-
not available.
Okay.
Well, I am available on the 8th, but we should not meet
I
on the
don't wanna
8th.
do that.
I'm not available on the 15th,
Okay.
and I'm not available on the 1st.
Oh, first.
So if we wanted to not do a Monday, which is all sorts of scheduling problems, I understand. I could be available the 9th or the 10th of July,
Sure.
just,
Maybe Tuesday or Wednesday.
yeah. But
Okay.
we get into Thursday, Friday, no.
We can decide during one of our
Yeah.
June meetings if we have to.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
It's my busy season.
Any
You're off.
more,
Aren't you off for the summer?
any more comments? I think that's it for anything that was on the agenda. Any comments from the public? Seek if there's anybody out there.
Double
Is there
check.
nobody out there?
Nobody.
Okey-doke. Any further comment from the board?
Yes, I've got to share with you a potential tragedy that's happening in town. They're discontinuing the pancake breakfast at the senior center.
Temporarily, or?
No, they're saying this is the last one. Not enough people are showing up.
It must be because of the lunch periods.
Well, there's other lunch stuff, all sorts of other stuff going on. But yeah, there's just not
Huh.
enough people showing up. That was
That's too
very
bad
sad.
for the people who are showing up.
It is.
Yeah,
It's a social event as well.
Yeah.
it is.
Anything else?
Tomorrow at 9:30.
No, I have nothing else to say.
Okay.
Thank you. We will be entering into executive session, so I'll entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
So moved.
Seconded?
Do you want to read this? Who wants to read this?
I can read it. Motion to enter in,
We just turn these off.
we're suspending the open meeting to enter into executive session, not to return to open session after exiting executive session. We're motioning to enter into executive session under purpose 7 to comply with or act under the authority of any general or special law or federal grant aid requirements. And the reason for the executive session. Applications for abatement or exemption under this chapter shall accept in proceedings before county commissioners, the appellate tax board, or a court of the Commonwealth be open only to the inspection of the assessors, the commissioners, the deputies, clerks, and assistants of either the assessors or the commissioner and such other officials or designated private auditors of the Commonwealth. Chapter 59, Section 60 of Massachusetts General Law is the law being cited.
Like to second that? Second, I'm sorry. Loading my calendar, I'm sorry.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, we're going to be shutting down. Thanks for those of you who are watching.
Give me 1 second.
Recording stopped.